guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be basically a wrap-up of my paranormal storytime series. This is going to focus mainly on things that I have experienced in places other than my old house on the base. So I was about 15 when I met my best friend at the time. She lived on the base as well, and we both rode the same bus. And there was a couple of times where she had invited me over to her house. There was one day that I was over at her house and she needed to ask her stepdad something. And in her house there was a study, and that was her stepdad's study. We went into the study so she could ask her stepdad something, and the energy that was in that room was overwhelming to the point where I thought I was gonna pass out. I, to this day, can't even explain really what it felt like, but it was almost like it was just all around the room, like looking down on us. It encapsulated the entire room, and it was so heavy and malevolent, very unwelcoming. And she was standing there talking to her stepdad, and I can't remember at all what she needed to ask him or what she was talking about. Like, my ears were ringing, like it sounded like wind, like really heavy wind, like I couldn't hear anything, and the energy was so intense that I literally thought I was gonna pass out. And finally she got done talking to her stepdad and we could leave, and it was like as soon as we went through the doorway from the study into the living room, it was just like this weight, like this heaviness completely lifted off of me. And I told her basically everything I just said. Like, I felt dizzy, I thought I was gonna pass out, like that there's something wrong in that room. And she agreed, and she told me that he has books in his study that deal with like opening and closing like portals to like talk to demons and stuff. And I was like, there's no way, that's crazy. So there was another day that he wasn't there. We weren't technically allowed to go in there without his permission, but I mean, my curiosity was piqued and she wanted to show me, so we went in there and she handed me a book. And I started reading through it, and sure enough, the page that I flipped open to was basically like a ritual showing you what to say and how to like open a portal to these realms, summon demons, talk to them, ask them questions, blah 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 blah, and then banish them back and close the portal. It was scary. Like, I'd never seen anything like that. Like, I didn't even know that books like that existed. After I had read that, I was like, we need to leave. I'm freaked out. Like, I don't want to be in this room. The energy that time wasn't as intense. It was definitely a lot more heavy when he was in the room, but I mean, it was still very much present, and it made me feel incredibly uncomfortable, and I did not want to be in that room anymore. There was another time where I was sleeping over at her house, and I slept over there frequently. We spent a lot of time with each other. And we were chilling in her parents' room for some reason, I don't know why, but we were laying on their bed, and she got called downstairs, so she had to leave. And I was laying on her parents' bed on my stomach, just letting my mind wander. And in the corner of my eye, I saw what I thought was her, or something, standing in the doorway. It was like the silhouette of a person. So I quickly looked, and there was nothing there. And I was like, okay. And then I felt literally what felt like something climbing on my back and like straddling my back and sitting on top of me. That is by far the most strange paranormal experience I have ever had. I just sat there scared because I'm like, what the hell is happening? Like, this thing is sitting on me. So I'm sitting on her bed, on her parents' bed, scared, and she finally comes back upstairs and tells me to go downstairs with her. And so I did, because I felt safe enough to move, because there was, you know, she was present with me, so if I got attacked by whatever the hell was sitting on me, then at least I had a witness. And another time, it was later at night. We were in the living room with her mom. We're just sitting around and talking, and we hear what sounds like a little child whimpering upstairs. And all three of us just stopped and looked at each other. And she was like, "You heard that, right?" I'm like, "Yeah, you guys heard that too?" And we all heard the same thing. So we thought maybe it was her brother. We go upstairs in his room and check on him, and he is like dead asleep. And she said he doesn't ever whimper in his sleep like that. One of the scariest experiences I had was at the dorms on the base. I was dating an airman at the time, and I was over there hanging out with him, and we were just laying in bed, like cuddling, just talking, and his laptop makes a sound that I've never heard any electronic device make before. I can't even really explain it, to be quite honest. It scared both of us, just the noise. The fact that it made a noise was scary enough, but the noise that it made was terrifying, and there's no reason it should have made a noise because it was closed, and it had been closed since I got there. We hadn't opened it, we hadn't done anything with it, it had been sitting in the same place, closed, and it just, out of nowhere, just made this noise. And I feel this presence, now this is going to sound really cheesy, but I felt this presence emerge from his closet. We were in the dark, so there were no lights on, and I was starting to freak out, and I was like, "Can you please turn the lights on?" And he says, "No, I'm too scared to move." And when he said that, then I really got scared. The fact that he was scared was scaring me, in addition to the fact that there was this presence with us. And I do truly believe it was a demon. I have like this intuition where when I feel like a spirit, when I feel a presence, I can see an image of what it would look like in my head. He turned towards me and holds me, and we don't move, and I can feel this demon come to the bed where we were, look over my boyfriend and look at me. And the image that I got in my mind of this thing was, it was short, it was gray with like fuzz all over it, it had an abnormally shaped head, it was kind of football shaped, its mouth opened almost like the entire length of his face, he had sharp teeth and black eyes. So we sit there for, what seemed like a long time, but I started getting angry, and at the time I was very religious, so I just began, praying, saying stuff like, "I'm God's child, you can't touch me, you can't harm me, this, that, and the other." And as I was saying that, I could feel it backing off of us. So once I felt strong enough and safe enough to get up, I did, and I went and turned on the lights. But that is by far the scariest experience I have ever had. I've never had an entity get that close to me, and it felt like it was targeting me. The fact that it looked over my boyfriend and looked at me really, really scared me. So that's basically all that I have for this paranormal story time. I'm sure there are other stories that I'm forgetting. If there are, then I'll just hop back on here and make another video. If you have enjoyed this series, I would appreciate a thumbs up and subscribe, comment, let me know what you thought, if you've had any paranormal experiences. So thank you for taking the time to watch this video, and I'll see you guys next time.